សមាជិកគណៈបកសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាប្រធានសាមគ្គីក្រុមនានាសង្គ្រោះបម្រើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរព្រមគ្រប់គ្នាទាមទារសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរបស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទិញឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរ
Good evening. Welcome and thank you for joining our show. This is Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This is part of the CNRP America live show. My name is Linda. Today is Tuesday, June 29, 2021. Again, thank you for joining our show today. Please join me to support our petitions at change.org, ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Our campaign, Ending Impunity for Justice in Cambodia. It is very important. We need your support, basically. Please join me. Together we fight to end impunity. Together we hold Hun Sen responsible for continuing to kill and hurt Cambodians. Until now, hundreds of victims have never received any justice. Together we fight to end to find justice for backstate killing in Cambodia. Please help to watch a short clip by Her Excellency Mosakur explaining the detail on ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Thank you.
តើយុត្តិធម៌ឬនីតិរដ្ឋភាព
Between 1975 and 1979, the green rice fields of Cambodia became the killing fields of Cambodia. Over 2 million lives were lost, including the lives of my own parents and many of my relatives. The Khmer Rouge wanted a society that is equal according to them. We still live and we are haunted with the legacy of the Khmer Rouge, which is the culture of impunity that continues to exist in Cambodia today. It is for this reason that we have started a campaign, worldwide campaign, a campaign to end impunity in Cambodia by seeking justice for cases, for the executions, for the killings that are organized, that are backed by the state. Among those cases of state-backed killings are the killings of Chivichir, a very famous trade union leader, Bisep Pilaka, a ballet dancer, of Kemley, an independent analyst, of Chutvuti, a well-known environmentalist, of Venerable Sun Bunthurn, who was advocating for the monks to have the right to vote, including workers who demanded fair wages. The campaign will also advocate for governments that are members of the United Nations to put pressure on the government of Cambodia to conduct independent investigations by using universal tools such as the UN Protocol for Independent Investigation. The campaign will also advocate for governments that believe and want to protect universal human rights to impose sanctions on the leaders of the government of Cambodia who are implicated in these state-backed extrajudicial killings. We ask you to be with us, to support us, to be part of a campaign to end the culture of impunity in Cambodia and to find justice for those who have been waiting for justice for their loved ones killed by the state. There cannot be real peace unless there is justice. There cannot be justice unless there is independent investigation. And then to take those cases to an independent justice system. Join us by signing on this petition. Thank you.
យើងរួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជា
Welcome back, and thank you for joining our show. Once again, this is Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This is part of the CNRP America live TV show or Facebook show. Again, my name is Linda. I am live from Los Angeles, California. Hope your day is great today. We have two wonderful guests with us today. Before I introduce them, our topic for today is environment, our planet, our future. In June, the world celebrate the World Environmental Day on June 5th. So we are still June 29th. So we don't want to go past by June without talking about environment. And also there are so many things going on with the environmental lately in Cambodia. Also, we will touch base on that. We also talk about why does the world celebrate Environmental Day, and also talk about the recently where the U.S. Embassy withdraw aid to support the Prey Lang environment. And also we will talk about the 3 or 4 activists that was recently arrested. So our topic is about environment. So I hope you stay tuned and watch and also comment on anything you would like to say. Again, my name is Linda, and I would like to introduce two of my guests that's here today. My first guest, her name is Brittany Baker. She is the former ESL teacher at Peace Corps, and also she is CNRPA supporter in Columbus, Ohio. She's been to Cambodia, and she know Cambodian. She know how to speak Khmer, so let's bring her out. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you again for having me tonight.
Thank you for being here today. សុខសប្បាយបងអូន
ចាសុខសប្បាយបងសុខសប្បាយអី
ចាខ្ញុំសុខសប្បាយ How is អាកាសធាតុនៅ Ohio this week?
អាកាសធាតុវិបត្តិដូចជាក្តៅខ្លាំងនិងភ្លៀងនិងចាដុលរហូត
ចឹងគ្រប់មុខចឹងភ្លៀងផងក្តៅផងស្ងួតផងគ្រប់មុខ
ហ្នឹងហើយចា
Okay, and you know California ក្តៅរហូត
ហ្នឹងហើយចា
អរគុណបងអូនដែលបានមកចូលរួមថ្ងៃនេះចា
អរគុណ
My second guest, let me bring him out. He is Sammady. He is the youth president in Los Angeles, California. Sammady, how are you? Cannot hear you, Sammady.
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Good. How you been?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
You haven't been here for like 2-3 weeks now, so hopefully you're doing good, and hopefully school's treating you well.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Sammady.
Thank you, Bob.
Let me add Brittany back in. Thank you, Brittany, and thank you, Sammady, for being here today.
You're welcome.
We have a lot to talk about. Our topic is environment, our planet, and our future. Let me read a little bit from the World Environmental Day. You all aware on June 15th, we celebrate World Environmental Day, and that is on every year, June 15th. The purpose of World Environmental Day is to spread awareness about the threat to the environment due to the rising pollution level and climate change. This year, this is the 47 years that we celebrate, or the world celebrate World Environmental Day, and it's basically talking about ecosystem restoration, meaning doing the damage that caused to the environment by us and also to save the earth, to bring awareness to people that we did a lot of damage and we need to save the earth and we need to be aware of our surrounding. Why is it important that we all should care the environment? So, Brittany, do you want to help us understand? Since you are here, we are more aware of our impact to the earth. Why should we care about the environment?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. A big question, but a good question. I think we should care because it's not just about us today, right? It's about our future generations, our kids, and the people that come after us. It's our responsibility to care for the earth now, and to pass on a better earth, a better environment than we received. And I think it's within the power and the responsibility of everyone, individuals and governments, to care for the earth and to protect the resources for future generations.
Thank you, Brittany. Let me add Sammady. Sammady, why should we care about our environment?
Well, the main reason is climate change, because if you cut down all the trees, it's going to get hotter, and especially for third world country that desperately need water, like you see in Cambodia and Africa. Water is like very expensive, and most people don't have a running water like through pipe like us. They're going to river to get water. So if the country is in a dry condition, they wouldn't be able to have water to survive. Basically, you need water to live. So that's why climate change is important, and we have to keep the forest to keep the temperature down.
Correct, Sammady. Our forests help to remove carbon dioxide and also other pollution from the air that we breathe, and also help to keep our air temperature cool, reducing the formations, based on what I read, is reducing the formations of ground level ozone. Pollutions cause heart disease and lung problem. So that's the reason why it's important that we grow tree, we plant tree, and we don't cut down the forest as well. And also our wetland help store the water and that's the water that we drink. So basically help the water system. Who should care about the environment? Should older people care, or who should we? I mean, who should care? We're talking about this, so who should care about the environment? Brittany, can you help? Who should care about this? Is it only you, me, somebody talking about this, or who else should care about this?
Yeah, good question. It's everyone, every generation, from young people to middle-aged people to elderly people. We all have some role, something that we can do to protect and preserve the environment for future generations. And it's not just about what you and I can do in our daily lives, small changes that we can make, such as reducing our plastic or taking a reusable cup to get our coffee. But it's also about holding governments and the institution and the state responsible for also protecting the environment and not polluting the waterways and not cutting down our forests and not imprisoning environmental activists too. So it's both of those things. It's people's responsibility, but it's also the government's responsibility as well.
Thank you, Brittany. How about you, Sammady? Who should care about the environment? Besides, since we three talk about, besides us three, who else should care about this?
Well, in my opinion, it's the younger generation, because older people, they don't have much longer in this world, and we are the next generation. So it's going to be ours in a couple more decades, and we have to care about environment, because one, if the climate keep on rising, it's going to get hotter, and as you know, in California we're in a drought. So I believe younger generation should care about an environment.
Thank you, Sammady. Yes, everybody should care about the environment. Also, like Brittany say, reduce the use of plastic straw, plastic bag. I believe reduce the use of plastic plate, plastic fork, and when you go places, bring your own plate so you can wash them. That is something that everybody can do. I know in California, they've been using paper straw. I know it's not as strong as plastic straw, but it's something that we encourage. And also we charge per plastic bag. So we need to, in California, we bring our own bag to grocery store. Is it something like that in Ohio as well, Brittany?
Some stores do that, but it is not the statewide policy yet. However, some places you can receive a 5 cent or 10 cent credit if you bring your own bag. Hopefully, we'll move in the direction of California, but Ohio is not nearly as progressive as California, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we don't get 10 cent or 5 cent.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a requirement. The store don't give us plastic bag anymore, so we have to bring our own reusable bag or our own plastic bag to use that. And if you forget to bring your own bag, then what I do is I just use the grocery without bag to put in my car. And and if I want a bag, that's 10 cents per bag.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I think that's our topic regarding Environmental Day, just to bring awareness, and that's what happened on June 5th, International Environmental Day. So that way to bring awareness that we all need to chip in and save the planet and for our next generations. 10 days after June 5th, on June 16, the U.S. Embassy announced ending assistance to government entity. This talk about Cambodia due to worse situations in protecting Prey Long communities in 2016. Sammady, have you heard anything about that? It's been 3 weeks ago.
The deforestation of Prey Long.
Yeah, deforestation, or also regarding the U.S. Embassy ending assistance to the government.
Well, I believe the main reason they ending it because the government doesn't take any advice from them. So, because they don't gain anything from taking advice from the U.S. assistance, because it impact their pocket. So they're gonna keep doing it. They're gonna keep cutting down all the forests and doesn't care who will be affected by deforestation in Prey Long.
Brittany, you would like to chime in regarding the U.S. Embassy ending the assistance to the regime?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate because it's my understanding that the U.S. government, through U.S. aid and other organizations, have been very supportive of environmental projects and supporting forest preservation. But after many years of not meeting the goals of the program, the money was redirected to other groups. So while it's unfortunate that the money is no longer there, I understand the U.S. government's stance on not wanting to continue to throw money into a project that we don't see the results that we were hoping for in terms of reducing the forest growth.
Let me read something. This is from the Global Forest Watch. It said that Cambodia has suffered some of the highest rate of deforestation than any other country since 1970. The rate also, let me see, the rate has also significantly increased in recent decade. The report also cited another report that's saying that based from the Global Forest Watch, estimate between 2001 to 2018, the country had lost over 500,000 hectares of forest cover in protected areas, representing 11.7% of lost coverage. Forest coverage loss was discovered by a study and investigation deforestation in Prey Long and also in Prey Rangka, while so basically in the northern country of Cambodia. it's a shame that even though with all the money throwing in to protect the forest, it's still not the increase of deforestation is still there. And according to the Global Witness, it said London-based watchdog Global Witness has produced reports showing how politically connected Cambodian tycoon used concession and military personnel to strip valuable wood from protected areas and feed the thriving market in China and Vietnam. Does that sound even close to that? Have you been to Prey Lang, Brittany, since you've been to Cambodia before?
No, I haven't, but the area in which I lived for more than 2 years, I witnessed a lot of deforestation. And just the few years that I lived there, I heard people talk about the rising temperature, the lack of shade, the consequences for the farmers. With the deforestation, there are some serious impacts for farming. And as you know, Cambodia relies on farming and agriculture to survive. So very serious consequences in all parts of the country.
What is the consequences? Can you help to describe what's going on?
Yeah, when one thing, it releases a lot of pollutants into the air when you cut trees. So it worsens the air quality. It decreases the shade that people rely on, right? Just to get out of the heat. And perhaps most importantly, when you remove trees and you remove the root system of trees and plants and things like that, it can lead to erosion and changing farmlands and things like that. So some very serious consequences that I imagine we will continue to see for many years in the future.
And how often do you hear about planting tree in Cambodia?
Very rarely.
Very rarely, yes. The same here. I rarely see planting ceremony. If we see it, we see one broadcasting through the TV, but we never see any broadcasting of the cutting down tree. But for some reason, the tree is missing. Sammady, what does it say about the Cambodia government or the Cambodian regime as a whole in handling and stopping deforestation in the kingdom?
In my opinion, like, they don't really care about the well-being of the country. The regime just trying to take as much resource as possible before he decide to pass it on to the next person. And also on the topic of consequences, I agree, because we forgot that Cambodia is one of the largest percentage that make up of malaria risk from mosquito. And all of this is due to deforestations. And according to WHO, around 1 million Cambodian are infected with malaria each year. That is a lot. Cambodian population is around like 10 million, if I remember correctly. And the cause is due to deforestation, because this will allow the malaria to spread across the countryside. And because when you're cutting down tree, it gives you less shadow of trees, and this make the water temperature increase. And mosquito will love those kind of places. They breed in those type of water, and it go bite the little kid, the adult, and it causes malaria. So I believe this is all due to deforestation, and the government doesn't really care about the well-being of the Cambodian people. And malaria, if you go without treatment, it can cost your life. Especially in the countryside, not many people are able to go to the hospital when they were sick because they don't have money, and they don't even have money to buy food to eat for daily basis. So that is my opinion on the consequences of deforestation.
Let me read something on climate change. Cambodia is highly exposed to the impact of global warming and extreme weather, like Brittany said, such as flood, drought, rising temperature, and strong winds. The frequency of climate-related disaster has increased in the past 3 decades, with deforestation considered a major cause of flooding in Southeast Asia. Across Cambodia, 2019 was marked by report of unpredictable weather, shift in the annual rainfall cycle, and intensified wildfire, crop failure, drought, and extreme heat. This is all Brittany, she's already said it already. And this is the study that came to it. The forests play a crucial role in migrating climate crisis. Increased deforestation and environmental damage is expected to further cause the extreme weather. So we all, we live in this country, we understand this, really understand that the effect of tree on our environment. And at the same time, we look at Cambodia and we look at Southeast Asia. I mean, since we are Cambodian, we talk about Cambodia, but also it's a chronic issue in Southeast Asia. And based on the study, is Cambodia is one of the country that deforestations, the fastest deforestations. And when we're talking about deforestations, we're talking about land grabs. It's go hand in hand. According to the study, also is that Cambodian military got the workers and bulldozer and grab land and in order to cut tree. And so that it just continue on, and we all know and we all aware of this. So we talk enough already about the environment. We start about environment, and now we move on to the environment in Cambodia. Let's talk about the recent news of the 3, I believe the 4 youth arrests, activists that they are recently, I think they arrested on June 20 or June 21st. They later charged and then sent to jail. Let me show their face so that way we all know what we're talking about, and I will play video later on. So these are what I call Mother Nature activists. They the bottom 3, they recently arrested. The top 3, they have been in jail for many months already. Let me play a video. I want to share a video so that way we all can see what they did that put them in jail. Okay, let me see if I do it correctly.
Bang Linda, did you share the audio?
Oh. Why am I keep forgetting that? Okay.
ឆ្នាំកន្លងមកនេះប្រជាជនកម្ពុជាកំពុងតែខ្លាចទៅជាជាតិសាសន៍មួយដែលរស់នៅដោយខ្វះផ្លាស្ទិកមិនបានជាឧទាហរណ៍ជាក់ស្ដែងតាមការសិក្សាស្រាវជ្រាវបានបង្ហាញថានៅក្នុងទីក្រុងភ្នំពេញការប្រើប្រាស់ថង់ផ្លាស្ទិកមានរហូតដល់10លានថង់ក្នុងមួយថ្ងៃដែលស្មើនឹង 3600 លានថង់ក្នុងមួយឆ្នាំបើប្រៀបធៀបទៅនឹងប្រទេសចិននិងអឺរ៉ុបប្រជាជនកម្ពុជាប្រើប្រាស់ថង់ផ្លាស្ទិកច្រើនជាងគេរហូតដល់10ដង ក្រៅពីវិបត្តិនៃថង់ផ្លាស្ទិកទាំងនេះនៅមានវិបត្តិនៃផ្លាស្ទិកជាច្រើនទៀតដែលនឹងបង្ហាញនៅក្នុងវីដេអូមួយនេះតើមានអ្វីកើតឡើងទៅលើផ្លាស្ទិកដែលយើងបានប្រើប្រាស់រួចភាគច្រើននៃផ្លាស្ទិកទាំងនោះនឹងរសាត់ទៅគ្រប់ទីកន្លែងដូចជាគំនរសម្រាមឆ្នេរសមុទ្រប្រឡាយនិងលូជាដើមហើយផ្លាស្ទិកទាំងនោះនឹងមិនរលាយទោះត្រូវចំណាយពេលរាប់រយឆ្នាំក៏ដោយប្រសិនបើសម្រាមទាំងនោះត្រូវបានដុត វានឹងបញ្ចេញនៅសារធាតុគីមីដែលធ្វើឲ្យប៉ះពាល់យ៉ាងខ្លាំងទៅដល់សុខភាពជាពិសេសគឺផ្លូវដង្ហើមតែយើងគួរបន្តទៅលើអ្នកណាដែលបណ្ដាលឲ្យបញ្ហានេះកើតឡើងកាន់តែធំឡើងពីមួយថ្ងៃទៅមួយថ្ងៃខ្ញុំខ្លួនឯងផ្ទាល់ក៏ជាអ្នកដែលញៀនទៅនឹងការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកដែរខ្ញុំពិតជាមិនចង់ឃើញកូនចៅជំនាន់ក្រោយរបស់ខ្ញុំក៏ដូចជាប្រទេសទាំងមូលត្រូវលិចលង់នៅក្នុងសមុទ្រសម្រាមផ្លាស្ទិកនោះទេ ដូច្នេះហើយទើបខ្ញុំចាប់ផ្ដើមអនុវត្តនៅទម្លាប់ងាយៗ5យ៉ាងដែលខ្ញុំជឿថាវាអាចជួយកាត់បន្ថយការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកបានប្រសិនបើអ្នកជាអ្នកដែលចូលចិត្តញ៉ាំកាហ្វេឬភេសជ្ជៈផ្សេងៗអ្នកគួរតែយកកែវបែបនេះដាក់តាមខ្លួនដូចដែលខ្ញុំបានធ្វើកន្លងមកឈប់ប្រើប្រាស់ទុយោផ្លាស្ទិកដែលងាកមកប្រើបំពង់ទុយោដែលផលិតពីអ៊ីណុកឬសីនិងវត្ថុដែលផលិតពីធម្មជាតិផ្សេងៗបងមិនដាក់ថង់ទេណាកូនបងឈប់ប្រើប្រាស់ថង់ផ្លាស្ទិករាល់ពេលដែលទិញទំនិញដែលងាកមកប្រើថង់ដែលផលិតចេញពីធម្មជាតិឬថង់ក្រណាត់បែបនេះឬក៏លោកអ្នកអាចដាក់ទំនិញទាំងនោះនៅក្នុងកាតាបរបស់អ្នកបានផងដែររាល់ពេលដែលលោកអ្នកត្រូវការខ្ចប់អាហារទៅទីឆ្ងាយម្ដងអ្នកគួរតែដាក់ប្រអប់បាយនិងស្លាបព្រាតាមខ្លួនបែបនេះឬលោកអ្នកអាចប្រើប្រអប់ដែលធ្វើពីរុក្ខជាតិដែលវាអាចរលាយបានលឿនបង្ហាញការបដិញ្ញារបស់អ្នកក្នុងការកាត់បន្ថយការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកទៅក្នុងបណ្ដាញសង្គមហើយជំរុញឲ្យមិត្តភ័ក្តិនិងក្រុមគ្រួសាររបស់អ្នកចាប់ផ្ដើមអនុវត្តនូវទម្លាប់ងាយៗទាំងនេះអរគុណសម្រាប់ការទស្សនានៅវីដេអូមួយនេះកុំភ្លេចចែករំលែកនៅវីដេអូនេះទៅឲ្យមិត្តភ័ក្តិរបស់អ្នកបានឃើញហើយត្រូវចងចាំថាកាលពីមុនខ្ញុំក៏ជាអ្នកដែលញៀនទៅនឹងការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកដូចគ្នាប៉ុន្តែពេលនេះខ្ញុំអាចធ្វើបានចុះអ្នកវិញ
So how do you feel about that, Brittany? What is she talking about?
About the impact of plastic and what we can do to reduce our plastic use and what everyone's role is in protecting the environment.
Thank you, Brittany. Sammady, what's your take on that video?
I think, well, in the U.S., if you make those kind of video, it just show that you have patriot in your body, like you care about your own country and you don't want it to suffer from plastic, because as you know, water, if plastic is in the water, you can't drink those type of water because it's going to affect your health. But it seems like she getting arrested for speaking the truth and because she loves her country. So this too shows that in Cambodia you cannot express freedom of speech.
I think another charge is like insulting the king. So I don't know how they insulting the king by that video. So it is ridiculous, and you are totally right, Sammady. If you in America or in Europe, and if you make that video, you probably win some prize for care when you're so young, so care and concern about the environment. She brought out her question was on that video. Who should be responsible for all those plastic? Brittany, can you help? Who's responsible for having those plastic there?
Another good question. I think the responsibility is both with the individual and with the government. I think a long time ago we used natural products, whether it be bamboo or banana leaf or something that was good for the environment to wrap our products in. But because of the invention of plastic, we have become a little bit lazy with that. But also if the government doesn't do anything to encourage the people or to incentivize the people to use something that's better for the environment, then it may be hard for people to make that switch. So I think the responsibility is both with the individual, but also with the government.
If you were never able to leave Cambodia, if you were born in Cambodia and you were staying there and you grew up, you never come out of the country and see what other country is like. Then whose responsibility is it to teach you to say, it's your responsibility, that it's a citizen responsibility to make sure they don't throw trash and they don't throw. The video also saying people are throwing trash everywhere. It's clearly the government responsibility to encourage the citizen to be mindful of trash, to be mindful of plastic, and to help save the environment. Sammady, when you were in Cambodia, you ever see a propaganda, we can call propaganda or advertisement or how to throw the trash or where you should what do you do to plastic? Have you ever seen that?
Well, in Cambodia, I don't think those stuff is relevant because it doesn't impact you directly as a person. It doesn't impact your family, yourself, or your daily life. So when youth like myself see those kind of video, they said, why would you make those kind of video and go to jail for? Is it worth it? And they probably just laugh at you for doing it. So those stuff seem irrelevant. It's because in the educational system, the government does not enforce any rule or laws that teaches those kind of things to students. Like for me, in college, professor teaches do not use plastic. They teaching about deforestations and even save water in California because we're in a drought. Don't take a shower too long. They teach you how to minimize using water, like brushing your teeth. Just put water on the brush, make it wet, brush your teeth, and turn off the water. There's no point of leaving it running. So those kind of stuff go into student, and when they hear it from school, they consider it because those are important because your teacher taught you that. And in Cambodia, people never say anything about plastic. All the most propaganda that I see in commercialized is beer and alcohol. That is the most important thing. I can guarantee you 90% of the time in commercial Cambodia, you will see people drinking beer and alcohol and smoking cigarette, even though they say cigarette can cause you cancer, but they still advertise it 24/7 on all channels in Cambodia. So it seemed like deforestation and plastic is irrelevant because no one enforced the law into the system.
Thank you, Sammady. Yes, it's very unfortunate. That's the video, and that we can call young lady is actually in jail right now. And one of the charges is insulting the king. How she insulted the king, we will see, but for some reason, I don't see her doing anything besides encourage people to don't use plastic, clean up to yourself, don't throw trash on the ground, pick it up and help to save the environment. I'm gonna show the second video. This is what the second young man that he is also arrested, and see. I want to share like how does the youth in Cambodia got themselves in trouble based on the regime.
ការសាងសង់សំណង់អគារនៅលើដីឆ្នេរសមុទ្រគឺផ្ទុយទៅនឹងច្បាប់រដ្ឋធម្មនុញ្ញនិងច្បាប់ភូមិបាលហើយត្រូវផ្ដន្ទាទោសដោយពិន័យជាទឹកប្រាក់រហូតដល់50លានរៀលនិងត្រូវជាប់ពន្ធនាគាររហូតដល់5ឆ្នាំប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុងឆ្នេរឯករាជ្យតែមួយប៉ុណ្ណោះដែលខ្ញុំបានរាប់មានអគារចំនួន5កំពុងសាងសង់ដូចជាសន្តាគារនិងកាស៊ីណូ CNRPA Palace ដែលមានចម្ងាយពីសមុទ្រឬពាក្យបច្ចេកទេសហៅថាកម្រិតទឹកចូលត្រឹមតែ19ម៉ែត្រអគារយក្សឈ្មោះ Blue Bay 55ម៉ែត្រសន្តាគារនិងកាស៊ីណូ Sunshine Bay 45ម៉ែត្រសន្តាគារ Novotel Holiday Palace 16ម៉ែត្រនិងអគារ Casino Holiday Palace ត្រឹមតែ18ម៉ែត្រតែប៉ុណ្ណោះដែលយើងអាចដឹងចម្ងាយពីទីតាំងមួយទៅទីតាំងមួយបានដោយប្រើឧបករណ៍វាស់ចម្ងាយមួយនេះសារាចរណែនាំស្ដីអំពីការអភិវឌ្ឍតំបន់ឆ្នេរសមុទ្រកម្ពុជាបានបញ្ជាក់យ៉ាងច្បាស់ថាហាមដាច់ខាតមិនឲ្យមានការសាងសង់ណាមួយនៅក្នុងប្រវែងមិនក្រោម100ម៉ែត្រគិតចាប់ពីចំណុចទឹកចូលនៃទឹកសមុទ្រដោយដែលបងប្អូនបានឃើញនៅខាងក្រៅក្នុងខ្ញុំនេះអាដាមជាសុផារ៉ាគណៈដែលអាដាមធ្លាប់មានភាពស្វាហាប់ក្នុងការបណ្ដេញប្រជាជនចេញពីតំបន់ឆ្នេរចាប់តាំងពីឆ្នាំ2016មកដោយចាត់ប្រកាន់ពួកគាត់ថាបានរំលោភយកដីឆ្នេរខុសច្បាប់ដូច្នេះ ខ្ញុំមានសំណួរសួរទៅកាន់អាដាមថាតើមូលហេតុអ្វីបានជាមានការអនុញ្ញាតឲ្យមានការសាងសង់អគារទាំងនេះជាបន្តបន្ទាប់នៅលើដីឆ្នេរសាធារណៈរបស់យើងទាំងអស់គ្នាប្រហែលនេះគឺជាការអសមត្ថភាពរបស់អាដាមនៅក្នុងការគ្រប់គ្រងឬក៏ជាការខុបខិតគ្នាក្នុងការលក់ឆ្នេរសមុទ្ររបស់យើងសូមបងប្អូនជួយចែករំលែកវីដេអូនេះនិងនិយាយបន្តទៅកាន់មិត្តភ័ក្តិនិងក្រុមគ្រួសារផងដែរសូមអរគុណ
អូគុំពងសោមឆោមស្នេហ៍ខ្ញុំអើយសាយនរងហើយគៀងកោយភ្លឺស្រីគៀងស្ដាប់
Brittany, what do we just saw?
It's very tragic, actually. The allowance the government makes to bring casinos, mostly Chinese casinos, is my understanding, which has serious consequences for that community. And as the temperatures are rising and the ice caps are melting and the sea is rising, I don't understand the long-term plan for the government to put the casinos so close to the water. It's going to create even further problems for the community and the people that are relying on those jobs. So it's very sad to see the government prioritize such businesses when there are much greater needs for those communities.
Thank you, Brittany. How about you, Sammady? What's your take from that video?
I feel like the Cambodian government want to take the easiest way route out of this because they know that they're losing the EBA, and they want to build a Silk Road between Sihanoukville and China, which give the Chinese citizen fastest way to Kampong Som by building hotels. So in the future, I don't think there's any more Cambodian people living in Kampong Som, because the land is so much expensive now because it's basically a foreign land. It's like Macau, the casino place. So in the future, Cambodian people will not be able to afford to live there because everything's going to be expensive and the rent is going to be expensive. It's like pushing your citizen out of their own home.
Well, look like a beautiful hotel. Why can't we visit? Why can't Cambodian go visit?
Cambodian would not go visit because right before, when I was small, I'm very excited when we go as a big family to Sihanoukville because we see beautiful beaches, the food is nice, and it just looks natural. Now it's just a place for casino. When there's casino, there's violence because people go to casino, they owe money, and it is evident we see people getting killed in the middle of the city because they can't pay back the money that they own to the casino. We even get kidnapped in Sihanoukville. Most of them is Chinese citizen, illegal Chinese citizen that come to Cambodia.
Thank you, Sammady. Let me put up the pictures of the youth that recently got arrested on, I believe, June 21st. And they are in Praisal right now in prison, and one of the charges is insulting the king, and I'm sure that one of the charges probably going to be incitement as well. Let me show some of the photo of the what we call Mother Natures. It's an organization where it's an organization, it's a non-profit where they try to call out the effect of the environment on what the people do to the environment and what we can do to help encourage people to ride a bike. That's not allowed as well. Let me see. And this is you saw her, she's talking about plastic. Her name is Sunratha. Now everybody is holding a sign to free her. Not just her, this free all the environmental activists that got pulled into jail for just speaking out. Why does the regime scare so much of this youth? Can you help me to understand why are they so scared? They're like in their early 20s. Somebody, what's wrong with the regime?
Well, because you cannot have your own voice, basically. You cannot speak the truth. Because when you're speaking about plastic populated Cambodia, those considered to be looking down on the government. They incapable of enforcing law to reduce plastic. And when you look at Kampong Sam, under Hun Sen regime, he is very proud that he built Sihanoukville to be an economic place to bring money into the country. But when you see those type of stuff that being shown truthfully, that is like you're not appreciate of your government doing all this for you, and you're still talking bad about the government, especially Chia Sapara. And I don't know why constructive criticism to Chia Sapara is considered to be disrespected to the king, because the last time I checked, the royal family doesn't have any right to be involved in politics, so they never be involved in this kind of stuff in first place. So this is purely the government fault. It's not the royal family. So this shows that they're just trying to cut you, like find anything to go against you, basically to throw you in jail. And in the future, no one will dare to speak up against the government anymore. At this rate, everyone's gonna agree with whatever the government do, and this is not the right path to a developing country.
Thank you, Sammady. How about you, Brittany? Why the regime is so scared of this youth? There's like 4 of them. Why are they so scared?
Yeah, it's very interesting that they would do this to young people rather than encouraging them to protect their environment and to provide a better future for the next generation. I think, so, as someone said in the comment, because the Hun Sen regime doesn't like the truth. And I think that summarizes it perfectly. They don't like the truth, and they don't like people to speak up and to be brave. So they are using these young environmental activists as to show the power and the injustice that the government is willing to use to smash any sort of bravery or people speaking up about injustices in Cambodia, or what needs to happen to reduce deforestation and to protect the environment. Something as simple as making a video warning about the consequences of using plastic should be rewarded. As we talked about earlier, if you made such a video here in the United States, like you may get some sort of a certificate or some award for that. Whereas in Cambodia, you are thrown into prison and likely will not have a fair trial. It's just the imbalance of power is shameful.
So what is it pointing them out? If we cannot make the youth cannot make a video of plastic or dirty plastic all over the country, what I see the correlation between deforestation, paying attention, telling people that the country deforestation, because that is exactly hit on their plastic, on non-plastic, hit on their pocketbook, which is cutting tree it's a lucrative business by the regime, selling to China and Vietnam. But at the same time, this is plastic. Encourage people to clean up, encourage people to be environmental friendly. And what's the impact of that? Why would the regime want to control on that? Somebody you want to care to answer?
Well, because when you're pointing things out that is truth, is basically you calling out the government. It's like you going up against them. And we can't dismiss the facts that Cambodia used to be under the Khmer Rouge, where including my grandpa, he is an educator. They take him to the killing field, and his family never found him. My dad say he never see his father's body; it just vanished. So compared to now, when you're an educator, when speaking your mind, they will take you to jail, basically getting rid of your voice, and you cannot speak the truth. So I believe this is the condition in Cambodia now. The government still can't get rid of that Khmer Rouge mindset, getting rid of all the educated people who they are going up to the government. They want to create a, if you want to say, uneducational state. By Khmer Rouge, they want to create a slave state where no one can have their own mind. So in Cambodia, you cannot have your own voice or freedom of speech. It's considered going up against the government of Cambodia. But if you want to be applaud for it, just say thank you, peace.
Yes, of consumptive, huh? Yes. The way I look at it, it's pointing a lot of finger to the regime on how they're not taking care of their people, meaning let trash just litter the street, let trash litter the river or the I believe the river bank. And also that actually, even though she encouraged people to use less plastic, and we look at it, it's really a good thing. It's very encouraging that the youth is still speaking out, and I'm very proud that they're still speaking out. At the same time, the regime feels threatened that they're pointing the finger of their job. They're supposed to clean up, even though we're using it, we throwing it on the trash. It's their job to clean up. It's their job. I mean, that's why they pay tax dollar. And so it's their responsibility. We as a citizen, we have responsibility as well to help with the cleanup, to help with the environment. But at the same time, if the regime's not educating the people, not encouraging the people, and at the same time not cleaning up after themselves, and when some youth pointing out that, hey, there's a trash here, who should be responsible for this, she got thrown in jail. So that is the, sorry about that, that is the final versions of that video. And this is not the end of that. We know there's many more youth that is knowing the reason why plastic bad for environment, the reason why the deforestation is bad for the environment, and that's not the only people that are going to speak out. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to speak out as well, because the regime is basically controlling people, controlling freedom of speech, freedoms of expression, and that's how I see it. How about you? How do you see from that video, Brittany, on that plastic video? Beside plastic, what is the end of that? It's like the regime is so scared of that video.
They're scared of that, and they're scared of the youth coming together and having a collective voice. So they want to smash that. One proverb that we have here in English, we say, they tried to destroy us, but they didn't know that we were seeds, right? So they're trying to destroy these individual youth, but they don't know that there's a collection of people that feel the same way.
Thank you. Yes, because of their arrest, it's getting more noise. It's getting more awareness that the country is neglecting their responsibility. And I seen the video before, and now that they got arrested, it's amplified the message. It's saying, they know what they're talking about. The youth know what they're talking about, and the finger. And she did ask in that video, who is responsible? The regime is responsible for all that garbage, in short. Let me see. We almost at the end of our time. Do you want to say anything or encourage anything of Bisanri? We are June. We see.
I think we lost her. Do you want to say any last words, I guess?
No, I'm back. Sorry.
Good.
Sorry. Yes. What one thing you're going to do this week or this month or this year to save the environment, Brittany?
Okay, good question. But first, I want to just share a small story, if that's okay, Bong.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so when I was in Cambodia, myself and a few other teachers at my high school, we saw the need for this in our community to protect the environment, to clean the space around our school, the space in front of the health center, the space in front of the market. And the students and a few of us teachers, we came together and we talked about what's the best way to do this. And 2 times a month we met and we worked together for a few hours, riding our bicycle around or walking around and cleaning up the space in the community. So I just want to leave that with us as a small piece of hope that the youth, many of the youth in Cambodia see this as a priority, and it's really the government's responsibility to foster this environmental education and environmental protection for the future generations.
Thank you, Brittany. Yes, that is a really great, it's really not just example, a really great showing that the youth do care. And it's not just the youth in Phnom Penh that have more access to electronic. It's youth everywhere in Cambodia that they can see clearly that trash is everywhere, plastics everywhere, and pollution is everywhere, and that's directly linked to the regime responsibility on how the lack of responsibility for their people. Sammady, do you want to say anything regarding our environmental topic today? Our topic is our planet, our future. What should we do?
What should we do? Well, I believe the youth in the U.S. They are well educated about environmental, and there haven't been any case during this past 10 years that I know of that the U.S. Deforestation, cutting down the forest to sell it to another country for profit. And I haven't heard anyone going to jail for talking about environmental. This is unheard of because if you think of it, this has nothing to do with politics. This is purely for the country own well-being, because they are the youth, they are the next generation. So I believe they should have the voice to have a constructive criticism to the government. So instead of having a closed mindset about this and see it as attacking the government, and see the government as incapable of doing this and that, they should take that as a criticism, constructive criticism, and be open-minded about it. If the government is educated, if the regime is open-minded, they would put that on the television to show youth that our country need to be more aware of this plastic pollution everywhere that we see, instead of taking money and just shows beer every day in front of kids, which kind of encourage them to not to care about the environmental change and the deforestation, but instead go drink beer.
I actually have like a great pictures. I forgot to save them when talking about the movie star where they holding cans of beer and they were okay. But the youth that was help clean up the environment, bring awareness to the environment, get arrested. Brittany, don't you have a quote you like to read earlier?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So this is from one of the founders of the Monk National for Social Justice environmental group. And he said, "It is like destroying young bamboo shoots so that those shoots will not grow and become bamboo trees in the future." Right? So it's like we were talking about earlier, people trying to smash and destroy these voices, but not realizing that they are seeds, and that the power that they have and the possibility that they have to improve our lives in the future.
Thank you, Brittany. And that is exactly why on June 5th, every June 5th, we're talking about the World Celebrate Environment, because that is what we need to leave for our next generations. We all here on Earth, so we need to take care of our Earth, our planet, and also not just for ourselves, it's for our generation. So when you're talking about the bamboo shoot, you're talking about all these messages that we're talking about today. It's just sending a message to the youth, to everybody, that it's their responsibility to take care of the earth. It's their responsibility to make sure to reduce everything. And in Cambodia especially, don't throw the trash everywhere. Take it with you, throw it at home. There's I'm not sure there's an access to trash can, but if everybody, whoever go outside and eat and bring the trash back and throw it home, throw it inside their house, that's one people that doing little thing at a time. And when when many people start doing the same thing, then that's what it's benefit the most. And don't just say that, just me, I'm not going to change the environment. Yes, you can change the environment if you think about it. If you use one plastic straw per day, 365 days, that's a lot of straw that into the oceans that you're not taking care of. So if you reusable straw, that means 365 straw will not be out there. And one of us, and if it's 10 of us doing it, 100, 1,000 of us doing it, it a little bit help. So it's our responsibility. It's everybody's responsibility. It does not matter how old you are or how young you are. And because we're talking about, we want to bring awareness that environment is important. And also we also want to bring awareness into Cambodia regarding deforestation because the U.S. Embassy not providing support anymore. And that just show how they help so much, but at the same time, the regime make so much money out of the forest, our deforestation, cutting down tree, and that's how deforestation happen. They make more money, a lot more money than they concern about the environment. And the last that we talk about is the environmental activists, the youth activists that got arrested, and there's many of them that's speaking out. And I am hoping, and I know for sure that's not the last youth going to talk. It's going to be more youth, and because of their arrest, they are also bringing the attention that the question is, who responsible for trash, who responsible for flooding, who responsible for deforestations. And we can also point the finger out that it's the regime's not doing enough, and the regime's not educate enough people to be aware of the environmental situations. And this 3-4 kids, they are actually brought attentions, and as a result, they are in jail. And that's the regime is so scared of people freedom of expressions. That's the end of that. No matter what message they use, it's going to be the freedom of expression. They want to control that. Well, thank you, Brittany, and thank you, Sammady, for being here today. I appreciate your time to talk about the topic. So I don't have a topic for next week yet, but hopefully we'll talk about something interesting. We're talking about youth, and hopefully we bring more attention to what's going on in Cambodia. So thank you both for being here today, and thank you so much. And also thank you, my audience, for being here today. I appreciate that. Our topic is very important. Like I said in the beginning, environment, our planet, our future. June 5th, the world celebrate environment, and we cannot leave June without talking about environment. And also at the same time, it just happened that there's so many things going on in June regarding environment, starting with the U.S. Embassy, and now also with the arrest of the activists. So I hope that today's show is bringing awareness of the regime trying to control people, not to speak on what is good for the planet and what's good for the earth. At the same time, when we talk about what's good for the planet, it's worse for their pocketbook. So that is also the topic for today. So thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate that, and I will see you next Tuesday. Thank you.